Building sports brands in China. Now this is thoughtful. Hello, I'm Clement Sang in Shanghai. This week on Thoughtful China, we'll discover how a global football team connects with millions of fans through rich digital media. We'll learn why Liverpool FC is now across more social media channels than any professional team, and why it's important to brands. We have two experts in our studio today, Matthew Baxter, Chief Media Officer for Liverpool Football Club, and Andrew Collins, CEO of Mailman Group in China, which provides digital and social media services for the world's biggest football teams, including the Liverpool Football Club. And we have a very special guest along with them, Liverpool football legend Robbie Fowler, one of the most revered players in Anfield history. Robbie and Matthew, welcome to our studio. Andrew, it's great to have you back on the show. So Robbie, I'm sure all the fans today are wondering, what are you doing in China? And in your previous experience when you came to China, has the ecosystem and the landscape changed from the first time you came to today?
Well, I think what we should start off, obviously we're over with the Mailman Group, invite us over. And I think the club, we've got an exciting new deal with PPTV coming up. I'm sure Matthew will fill you in a bit. But I think one of the big things we're over here to do as well is to engage with, the fantastic the fantastic support we've got in this country. It is fantastic, and we as a club, I think we've got many supporters all over the world, and in particular China. The club is very instrumental in getting out there and creating that bond through the social media, and our club is special that way. So we are doing that, and we're certainly doing it the right way.
Okay. So Matthew, has the club's position on China changed? How long did it take for them to shift that perception?
I wouldn't say it's changed. We've always known that within China we have passionate fans who are here who want to engage with us on a day-to-day basis. If you rewind slightly back to 2011. When we had the tour in Guangzhou. Off the back of that, we were one of the first clubs to launch on social media platforms within the country, and we did it in 2011, but we could have done it long before that because the fans here are so passionate. The Premier League have just come out with a report saying we've got about 100 million fans in China, and for us they've always been there, and there's probably more than 100 million if we dig any deeper. So I don't think it's changed. And over the years since we've launched then, we're now on 7+ social platforms in the country, some of the most important ones, and the growth has been steady through that period, and it enables us to talk to our fans on a day-to-day basis. They talk to us, and the engagement's really important. So it hasn't really changed. It's over the course of the period we've been here, we've grown and talked to these people and our fans on a day-to-day basis. We're now probably talking to 3 to 4 million fans every day, and we want to be talking to that 100 million fans. So we'll keep growing in the country as we go through in the next coming years. So
given that history, did it take a lot of commitment to shift focus and resources to take this step-by-step approach to evolving your presence here?
Yeah, it's a step-by-step approach. We engage with Mailman, and Andrew and his team have done a fantastic job getting us traction in the territory. I think we've now got 8 or more people working in the territory, and it's important for us as a club to be talking to fans in their local language at the local time, at the relevant time, on the relevant platform. And having Andrew and the team in territory enables us to do that. They are here in the territory on a day-to-day basis. So that's a really important point for us. Today, the announcement of the PPTV does another step in that direction. We're working with PPTV, Hupu Sports, etc. It's just another way to reach those fans. The landscape has changed, and fans digest the media in lots of different ways. And it's our job, and Andrew's job, and Robbie's job to ensure that we're in the right place at the right time, talking to the fans.
Like an interesting point on that too. Let's not forget the fact that Liverpool came in officially in 2011, that's just the official footprint by the club acknowledging the fan groups. But it was already acknowledged by the dozens of existing fan groups that were already there, that were being managed by fans. And that's what's unique to a football team. You're touching on people's lives. It's their passion point. So when we launch a new channel, and like today, so we're here to be talking about PPTV Sports, which is an awesome partnership, and it gives the club and our partners an incredible reach But actually, there's already millions of people consuming Liverpool content, Liverpool games across those channels already. It just now allows us to manage that better and give those fans directly what they want.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. People choose the lifestyle they want to lead, whether it's where they live, the car they choose, but they choose to support Liverpool, and it's in their DNA, it's in their soul, and it's in their passion. So we need to embrace that and engage with that passion, and part of that is through the relationships we have, and we want to have that relationship with the consumer and the fan on a day-to-day basis, and we want to work with people in the markets. That's why we tie up with brands like PPTV, because it means the passion and the connection is together.
So what's the business value for the club? I mean, traditionally, pre-digital, pre-mobile, pre-social, the rights for licensing went to the league. There was very little that the club could get because it was geographically separate for local sport and games. Now in today's world, where does the club see the value, besides user engagement, fan engagement? Is there a hardcore return that the club will see from all these activities now?
I think there's a number of points in there. I think for us, there is obviously commercial benefit, but it's also the long-term future of the club. As audiences get older, and we're investing in the youth, they're the future of our club and the future of our supporting in our fan base. Of course, there's commercial value. When you've engaged fans, it means working with partners they can reach, and brands they can work with us on a day-to-day basis to engage with those fans and engage in their passion. So there's the commercial and brand benefit, and everyone wants to buy a shirt, whether it's it's a Gerrard shirt or a Surridge shirt. There's that element, there's the retail element, but then there's commercial partnerships. We have some outstanding partners with Liverpool, from Standard Chartered, Garuda, Warrior. We have a number of very, very key brands. We have some, but the way we work in local markets opens the door to local brands in local markets as well. It doesn't have to be just the big global brands now. We can talk on a day-to-day basis, one-to-one with consumers in a specific territory. So that's really important. So there is definitely a commercial return, but that said, talking to the fans on a day-to-day basis is really important. The commercial benefit will come in time. Engage with your fans first. Get to know the fans, understand what their behaviours are, talk to them, understand them, and then the rest will follow. It'll be naturally following. Don't force that. Yeah,
what we've seen is that early when we launched the first network, that was great, and we hit 1 million fans pretty quickly, and that was off the back of support through the supporters clubs all over the country and many of the big media networks, including Cedar. And now what you're starting to see is that now there's such a big footprint, and when you're talking about, I mean, how many brands really get the opportunity to talk to 3 to 4 million fans every single day? So for us now, there's a lot of brands exploring, like, how do we as a brand engage your fans and develop support for our brand? Like, what can we do with that? And we're lucky because we're talking about passion points. And as Matt said, like, it's more than just a brand that they consume 1 or 2 times a day. It's their life. They're at the dinner table and they're talking about how the club went. We had a big win last night, so brands can really, we did. We can find really unique ways to talk about it.
I think what we should say as well is, I mean, it's not all about, as clubs, taking. I think, we as a club, the history we've had has been fantastic. But, over probably the last 20 years, we've not won the Premier League, but, we've seen the fans, and really it's a case of us giving something back. And really it's probably, thanking them, thanking the supporters for the loyalty, because, without the fans, it's very, very difficult to sustain anything in football, but the loyalty is tremendous. So maybe a little bit of a cliched answer is, it's a case of the club, giving back to the people. And I think we're quite proud of, being the first club, throughout the world to start this avenue, if you like, of the fans getting that little bit closer to the clubs, because it's relatively untouched, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this morning, Robbie made an impromptu trip to a hospital to see a die-hard Liverpool fan. Now, he would never have had that opportunity. The club happened to be in town. We reached out to the Fan Supporters Club, and they said, you know what, this guy would love a visit. And so it was an awesome opportunity to go out there and say thank you to a couple of fans.
That's great. I mean, are Chinese fans different to, say, UK fans? I mean, or are they the same? They're passionate, they love the brand. Are they the same type of people?
The fans worldwide are very, very passionate. It's in the DNA Liverpool. But when you come to China, Chinese fans understand the brand, and they understand Liverpool, and they understand the club so much I mean, they really do understand it. And I think that comes from the fact that, let's be honest, the fans here are, give or take, 7,000 miles away from Anfield, but they understand the club more than I'll ever understand. And our job is to ensure that the fans here, we bring Anfield to the fans here. They really do understand it. So are they different around the world? Of course they are. They have nuances in different territories and the way they digest and engage with us. But these fans here are really, really passionate. And wherever you go, I mean, just walking down the road with, Robbie, I mean, they understand the history, they understand what's happening now. To Robbie's point, they're very loyal fans. So that really means a lot to us. And the fans here want to talk to us on a day-to-day basis. That's the difference. They want to speak with us. They want to engage with us. They want to tell us their points of view. They want to have a dialogue. And I think that's very, very unique.
I mean, just on that point about like what's different about a fan here compared to, say, the UK, for example, there is less traditional ties, but China, typical China fans, they love the big brand and they love these clubs with rich history. And Liverpool is arguably one or two the top followed clubs in China, if not the number one club for somebody or their second favourite club. So you'll find a lot of fans in China that go, oh, I follow 2 or 3 football teams, not just one, and Liverpool's always up there. So that's one little unique thing to a Chinese fan.
So is there anything that the club can't do, like, say, for example, host a game here? Is there something that's outside the boundary of your current owned assets that could be in the future? Say, just as the NBA have games here, do you think your league will have a game here? Will Liverpool have a game here? What can and can't be done? Can we get some excitement? Can you share any secrets for your future road mapping?
I mean, Robbie might have some view on this too. For us, when we were here back in 2011 in the Guangzhou and the Tour, our intention is to be in places like China as much as we can do. And whether it's the first team, the reserves, the women, the under-16s, etc., we want to make sure that we have a footprint and a presence here at all times. We'd love to come back here and bring any of those teams back here in the future. Whether the bit about whether we like the NBA or having games here, that's up to the clubs working with the Premier League and the Premier League working with the clubs. So I think the answer there is never say never, but who knows? That's a discussion that will take place. But as a club, the bit we can look after is making sure that we bring Anfield and the club to China as much as we possibly can. And whether it's in bringing Robbie today and this trip to engage with the fans, go to the hospital, go and announce PPDV sports, Hoopu deals, whatever it may be, the small bits we can do to be here as much as we can, and when the team can be here to follow, we want to do that. And we have other parts of business, soccer schools, we have a foundation, so all these bits underneath, we want to make sure we have a footprint in China at all times.
Let's take a break. Then we'll be back to hear more from Robbie Fowler, Matthew Baxter and Andrew Collins about building sports brands in China.
What I think is great about Thoughtful China is it takes a market that is as complex, as dynamic, and as ever-changing as China, and it helps put things in context. Great speakers, great topics, great debates that help people learn, understand, and get a point of view on China that they might not have from other sources.
Welcome back. So can you give us any examples of global activation that was successful locally that you can share with the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a number of brands worldwide. I think the important thing to say is that when we're working with Liverpool brands, when we go into a market like we have done in China since 2011, we've built up an audience through rich social media. So when we work with our partners and our brands, they come in and work with us to engage that passion. We have an audience who are already talking to us. So a number of our brands and partners we have. I mean, an example would be someone like Subway. Last year, Subway, the high street sandwich brand, we had Sturridge and Henderson doing impromptu behind the counter, serving the fans Subway sandwiches and drinks and coffees, etc. It was fantastic, and it really engaged with their objective and had the players and the brand working synergy together. So that's one example. But any partner, whether it's Standard Chartered, Garuda, you know, or Vauxhall, whoever it may be, we work with them on their objective, mixed with our passion to hit their target and engage with the fans and convert to working, whether it's a bank account, whether it's a Subway sandwich, whether it's a flight on Garuda. So there's a number of nuances to it, and working with partners in this country enables us to do that. So whether it's PPTV, I don't know if you want to talk a bit more about that.
So yeah, like the value of partnering with PPTV gives us enormous reach and exposure. It also gives us an awesome video platform to create more branded content. And working with Hupu, a major sports platform here in China, also gives us a website and a channel to broadcast more branded content, creating more local content for match day experiences. So there's a lot of rich branded content that we're now developing to work with brands and create something unique. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting year.
I mean, I think last year, I think we had something like 100 million views on our news site.
Yeah.
So that is a ready-made audience for a brand who wants to reach out to a specific audience that has the right fit. So partners that who want to engage with us, that's the audience, and we've got it ready-made for them.
So what makes Liverpool so popular in China?
Good question. I mean, for the club have made an investment into China over the past nearly 5 years, 4.5 years, and it's still going very strong. And if you look at it today, the club is the most followed football team on WeChat. It's the most engaged football team on match day of any Premier League team and Champions League team. And that's by no mistake. That's from a commitment that the club made to China and through working with partners like ourselves and PPTV and these other guys. But the net result of that is a deeper relationship with the fans. So although the club may have not had Premier League success in the last 5 to 7 years, they've got a rich history. They've been very diligent about the way they communicate with their fans, probably more so than any of the other clubs. So if you look at where, say, Real Madrid or Barcelona, who are just popular here by a product of their recent success, Liverpool are popular regardless of what they do. They're always relevant because they're always here. They're across more channels than any other sports team. So what makes a club popular? Actually being here and speaking to the fans one-on-one, localizing content. So that's been great.
I think what we should say as well is, I mean, I said, early on in the show, I think the big thing is the loyalty. Look, we do like to give something back, and I think it certainly helps when you are a successful club. And Liverpool, the history suggests that we are a successful club. Maybe not the the recent history where Andrew was saying we've not won the Premier League, but we are getting out there. We are meeting people. We are activating with with many supporters, and that big loyalty thing is massive. It is a case of us giving something back, because I think the support that we've had over the years has been phenomenal. And look, I'm confident that we'll get bigger and better, because I mean, I think we're on the crest of something big again at Liverpool. I think we're certainly heading in the right direction. I think under Brendan Rodgers' tuition at the minute, I think we are playing excellent football. We are getting to where we were in the past, and I think the future's looking very, very good. And I can't wait. And again, I go back to that loyalty. That loyalty thing is massive.
Yeah, I think we want to be talking to our fans everywhere, wherever they are, and we want to be relevant to them. And when we build the infrastructure to talk to the fans, we're talking to them on a day-to-day basis. We have a most engaged fan base here in China through all the networks we have. When the success comes, which it will under Brendan's tuition, as Robbie said, the sky's the limit. And I think that's the case. You will only get bigger and better in everything we do.
Fans buy into the culture of Liverpool. It's not just any other football team. They're buying into the family. They're buying into the history. They're buying into just feeling like belonging to other people. And if you go to any pub, a lot of the pubs in Shanghai and Beijing and Guangdong and any other city around around China, you'll see little fan groups popping up everywhere. And so our content is spread through all those guys, and we try to engage them as much as possible. But there's actually not much we really have to do. They're really driving it. The fans are driving the club, and that's what people are buying into.
I think that in the UK at the minute there's a big campaign, if you like, about football without fans is nothing. And it's so incredibly apt as well, because football clubs now, in particular Liverpool, we need supporters. We need as many, and because of the loyalty and the passion of the supporters, they need the football club as well. So it works both ways. And I think Liverpool as a club, I think we pride ourselves on being the world's greatest football, or not the greatest, football family, but the world's biggest football family. And it's just everything about the club is heading in the right direction.
Robbie, Matthew, Andrew, thanks for coming to the studio today. That wraps it up for today. Be sure to subscribe to us on Youku, Tudo and YouTube. You can also follow us on Weibo, WeChat and Twitter, and join our LinkedIn group. See you again.